close of the opening day of the Minnesota Senate, where we are organized and ready to get to work for the people of Minnesota.
And I just echo those comments because today demonstrated how we are prepared and ready to go forward, and we know that we are Minnesota centered, so everything that we're doing is for the betterment of Minnesota. So thank you so very much.
Let's talk a little bit about what it looked like to have those discussions, to come to that agreement with Republicans on how these first couple weeks are going to go.
There was a very good faith effort in the room, and in a way that isn't always common, a willingness to share one another's concerns about what the result of this agreement could mean that allowed us to get to a much better outcome. There was a real commitment that we come together to organize and get our work done for the people.
Can you talk about how we plan the House, whatever that looks like here in the next few weeks?
I have confidence that the House is going to eventually come together and we'll do our work in short order.
Quite a juxtaposition between what is going on over there right now and what's going on here. I'm not going to ask you to comment on that situation, but I mean, are you concerned at all about what that might look like?
You know, I am hopeful that this session, which is a budget session, gets started, and we are committed to that here in the Minnesota Senate. We want to use every minute that we have in the 25 session to serve the people of Minnesota.
Is the big task this session. While you're waiting on the February budget forecast to come out, what should the Senate's priorities be?
Senator Champion and I both know, having chaired committees, that the early days of a budget session are all about getting ready to move that budget. So we'll be taking a look at the information that's coming from the agencies, hearing from them about their priorities, doing the hearings that we need to do to understand where we want to head as we await for that February forecast.
And one of the things that we'll also do is listen to what the governor's office says that they would like to see as their priorities going forward as well. So along with our own priorities, so we're going to make sure that there's space and room for us to talk about that and to look at what we would like to see happen in order to continue to move us forward.
Any advice for your counterparts in the House as they're trying to negotiate something?
You know, it is good to get to work for the people of Minnesota. In the Minnesota Senate, we recognize that we're in a temporary tie, and we took that seriously because a tie is a tie, and we wanted to get to work.
How important was it to have that time to honor Carrie Ditzik in this first day of the session?
You know, I can't underscore the deep feelings that people have for Senator Ditzik. You could hear it today on the floor. And we're going to carry that forward, both the meaning of her legacy, but also the grief that we carry. It's important that we recognize that, and we bring that forward together.
And we would have been here all day if I had kept going through a list of people who wanted to speak about the significance of Carrie Ditzik, because she's not just a human being. She also talked deeply about courage and Minnesotans and treating each other with respect. All the principles that you would hope that we all as human beings would really endow. But she really exhibited that, lived it, and so we are always excited about who she is, but we're going to use her guiding principles as a way to move forward.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
I didn't know your mom. I'm sorry.
Well, welcome. It's good to see you all back again. It's kind of like a reunion here to get back together again. But what a great day today on the Senate floor. It was really a day where we could get together, honor Senator Ditzik with an agreement here today where we're doing the power sharing. And you see quite a contrast between what's happening here and what's happening over the House. And hopefully this is something that we can continue going forward, really hoping to work this model until the end of session for the benefit of Minnesotans. And I'm excited to get started with work today.
Do you guys have any plans for now that you've got a taste of power? What's the plan?
Taste of power. So it follows the agreement. We're going to have power sharing up at the president's desk. We're also going to have power sharing within the committees themselves. And so you're going to see co-chairs. You're going to see committees evenly split between Republicans and Democrats. So agreements are going to have to be reached at each committee level as we move forward. So in the beginning process, as we're warming up, it's going to be, agencies will be coming in, delivering their budget, going through those things. pretty much the bread and butter issues that we've been facing. But each one will have each different hearing will probably have a little bit different flair to it, depending on who is chairing that individual meeting that day.
You guys are looking to do as a caucus while this framework is in place ahead of potentially that special election, maybe giving you guys the minority again?
And Quinn, our goal here is just to make sure that we're representing the interests of Minnesotans. I think for the last 2 years, we felt like we were really getting cut out of those conversations. And so we're going to get together, go through those committees, go through the hearings, and then really making sure that we're taking input from Republican districts, Democrat districts, and melding that into bills that we can all agree on going forward.
What's that look like in just a couple of weeks at the very beginning of the session?
Sure. Well, to begin with, we'll probably end up having a Democrat chairing one day and a Republican chairing another day. So you're going to see maybe more Republican-leaning bills one day, more Democrat-leaning bills another day. But ultimately, there has to be a majority of the votes on those committees to pass a bill out. And so if you're going to bring in an extreme bill one way or another, odds of you actually getting that passed out of the committee are virtually zero.
Plan to work with the House, just given what's going on over there? How does that affect what you do here?
Sure, I think we have to let the dust settle there in the House, and then also getting into our flow here at the Senate as we're working under this unprecedented agreement. So we'll see how that develops going forward. So I know there's a lot of controversy and issues that are going on there, but we'll figure out what that flow looks like once it gets settled.
Any advice for them as they're trying to negotiate that arrangement over there?
Look, that they have their own ball of wax over there with the issues that they're dealing with, different power structures, different personalities. So God bless them. I hope they can reach something soon because that's what Minnesotans are looking for.
Senator, if the House as currently constituted sends you a bill that they say passed with 67 votes, is that a bill that you could pass and send to the governor?
Yeah, so we're going to have to get together with Senator Murphy. This is a power sharing agreement, so we're going to have to see what we can do going forward. But if they are constituted and they are up and running, then by law, we have to do that.
If they have a 67 vote majority, you
If
would
by
have
law,
determined.
right, Peter, and if by law that they are constituted to do that, then we will work together with them and get those bills done for Minnesotans.
So you're doing a lot of work here in this sentence, correct?
By law, I mean, that's according to Representative Damuth, Speaker Damuth. They have the legal upper hand on this, and so it may go to court, it may not, but we'll continue to work with them.
How would you characterize the discussions that you had with Leader Murphy to get this framework across the finish line?
I will say, so I will give Senator Murphy and her team, and also our team, to a lot of credit on just the tenor and the tone of those conversations. It was done in good faith. Nobody had those gotcha moments. Think less of like a WWE conversation and more like a escape room when we're just trying to figure out how we work this together to get to the end goal. And so I felt like that was one of my my favorite conversations and negotiations that I've had in my tenure here at the Senate.
This is a TV kind of question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think that
Like Jerry Springer style or more Oprah?
Sort of a how do you feel kind of question.
Okay.
It was like, do you think that the death of Senator Ditzik tempered the conversation, meaning you're coming out of this tragedy, really like
Yeah.
do you think it kind of tampered down the partisanship in your talks with Senator Murphy?
Yeah, I think we're not going to. We all respected Senator Murphy or Senator Ditzik and what she left in the Senate too, her legacy here at the Minnesota Senate, and it did set the tone. If you remember too, we had that rough end of session, probably the most partisan end of session ever, and so to come here and have this power sharing agreement, I'm sure that Senator Ditzik and her passing really did impact those negotiations. All right.
Yeah, but she was the majority leader when they passed all those bills that you didn't like.
I understand.
Okay,
But-
as long as you understand.
Very good.
I'll also point like that end of session.
I know, it was a different session.
Very different than
But still,
2024. Yeah.
just want to make sure he understands.
Okay. Are we good? All right. Thank you.
Get a Barbara Walters.